All right, welcome to our um March 1st uh EmpathyBytes VIP Unity workshop. Today we're going to be going over more in-depth how to add features to Unity, like grab interaction to an object and sound, and then building the project to the headset. Before we get started, a little like plug. My club GTXR, we switched from Slack to Discord, so if you or anyone watching wants to scan that to join because you're interested in XR, feel free to do so. All right. So we have our Unity project in here. We have our GitHub for it open. Before you make any changes to Unity, to the Unity project, you want to fetch origin and then pull. Close Unity first because it'll yell at you, and then you pull to make sure that you're up to date, and then you can start working. This isn't required, but it just helps minimize merge conflicts that we would deal with later on. But for the most part, you shouldn't have to worry about merge conflicts as long as you are working on if you're not working on the same scene at the same time as someone else. So for example, you can see this is the name of the scene is sample scene, and if we go into our scenes folder, this is our only scene. But if you happen to be working on the project at the same time as someone else, you would duplicate the scene and make it your name, like Jack scene or something, and work there, because scenes are actually just text files that reference anything in your assets folder. Yeah, a little interesting behind the scenes. Maybe I can show you that just because it's interesting. Assets, scenes, sample scene, open with Visual Studio Code. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. It's just a giant text file, a huge text file with all of your parameters and game object, all the gamed objects in the scene, and their transform and their components. And so this is why you can't edit a scene at the same time as someone else, because you can imagine trying to fix merge conflicts from in this giant text file. So yeah. Anyway, tangent aside, we're at our Unity project, and yeah, so we're gonna work. So here's where we're at. This should actually spawn in the freshman dorm scene should be disabled by default, because that's how it is when you load into the game. But when we're actually working with it, we obviously need it to be enabled while we're working with it, so that we can see what we're doing and actually select objects and stuff. So all our objects in here, all our objects are in here. I guess, so instead of doing it on, actually, so here's just to go over the hierarchy again. We have our freshman dorm scene, which is the entire thing. And then inside of it, we have our freshman dorm model, which is it by itself with all the objects separate. So it's interesting, you can see all the objects just right there. And then inside of our objects, object, we have all of the objects organized with their info card canvas next to them. So the info card, each info card canvas, there's one per object, and they're all disabled by default because they only pop up when you grab the object. So that's why they're disabled. So we're gonna go through adding an object. I think that we will just do it with a let's see what models we have in here. Okay, so we're just gonna do it on this ramen pack. Or no, we're gonna do it on the headphones. We're gonna do it on the headphones because we have lo-fi beats. So the AirPods, the object may have like a bunch of complicated like children, but you can just ignore that because we're just gonna be like the parent, like the largest like object in that tree is just the one that we need to worry about. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like remove all these components so that we can add them and walk through it ourselves. I think it's saying removed because this is a prefab. So we're just gonna say right click prefab herb. Okay. It might be because it's a child. So we're gonna unpack completely. Okay, now we're good. Okay. So I guess it was saying that because this freshman dorm I made a prefab, the whole thing. Not necessary, but like when you have a prefab, a prefab is like a template of an object that you can copy paste anywhere. So if you make any like changes to it, it will mark those changes as like changes. So it's a little weird. But if you want to like unprefabify it, you right click and you say prefab unpack completely. Anyway, back to the AirPods. So we probably want something to reference to know what we're doing. Ignore that. So we're gonna get a reference. So in the bottom right, we have this Oculus icon, and we can click on building blocks. And there's all these things, and we can spawn in a grabbable item. And so this grabbable item is like a template kind of, and if we go to it, it's just a little cube on the floor. Now we're just going to use this as a reference. I'm gonna move it over to the AirPod just to make transitioning between them a little easier. But this is just a reference, so we're gonna look at all the components and like see what we need to make it work. So very basic stuff, like first thing we want to add is definitely a box collider. So the box collider determines like the shape that the object actually is when it is being interacted with by other objects. And if we search collider, there's actually a lot of different options. Box collider, capsule collider, mesh collider, sphere collider. So you can imagine a wheel collider. You can imagine all of these things are like useful for different cases. Mesh collider is sometimes a helpful thing to have because it will just approximate the mesh. It's not going to work in this instance because the mesh is actually a child of the parent. But like, so yeah, so
the actual object isn't the mesh.
Yeah. So like because this is like a imported like model from a website, it's kind of weird. So if you click on it, the like it's this weird like it's all these children, it's not organized at all. It's like a compression artifact kind of, I think.
Like the ones that we add. Like if
Yeah.
the buzz.
So photogrammetry models won't have complicated hierarchies, but they will have
So the mesh is not the object.
Yeah. The mesh can be the object, though. It just depends on how the object is set up. So I guess this mesh could have just replaced the pull this ramen bowl object instead of being a child of it. It's just about how you set it up. It gets slightly complicated because, like,
What collider did you use for the ramen bowl?
the ramen bowl, I used a box collider.
Do
Oh,
we normally use that?
yeah. Dude, what? I can't see the box. I can't edit the box collider. I am baffled. I'm really baffled. There should be a button right here, and I have no idea.
Also, sorry if the questions are.
No.
I'm trying to like get you before you move on.
No, all good. Please feel free to do that. Okay. So you should be able to see this edit collider button, and if you click on that, you can see the collider. So, yeah, I'll just walk you through it. So, box collider is like just a decent approximation, because sometimes with the mesh collider, it won't have a flat bottom. Like, here, let me just show you. So if I add a mesh collider to this root, I don't know if you can see it. I know that you can see it somehow, but I'm not sure. Sorry about that. But anyway, mesh colliders, if you can see them, they will it won't be exactly what you want, and you can't really edit it, so it might be like a triangle down here, and then the cup won't stand up by itself. So box colliders are just like a safe approximation. So let's add one to the root of these AirPods. And for this default cube, you can see it also has a box collider, and it actually just perfectly matches the shape of the cube because it is a box, and it scales with the scale of objects as well. So if I make it like wider, you can see the green mesh box collider is also scaling with that. Okay, so because like when I click on it's a mesh, you have to click on it in the hierarchy. It's kind of weird. Okay, box collider. It might be like way too big, so you just have to like crank it in. You can do it with these handles, or you can just like make the size like 0.1 to just get it in to the relative size, and then like, you know, like hone it in. So yeah, this is why it takes some time to set this stuff up. So you just try to get it like as close as possible. If you have to choose between like overdrawing the box or like having the box be inside of the object, it's better to have it be outside of the box outside of the object, because if the box is smaller than the object, then it will look like it's like clipping through the floor a little bit. So, box collider. The next thing that almost every object in Unity might have is a rigid body. Rigid body, it just means that it does physics. So it uses gravity, and these default values are usually fine. What else do we want? So we have the box collider, the rigid body, grabbable script. We're going to add the grabbable script. So you just search grabbable, put that in. Transfer on second selection, I like to turn that on. You can hover over things and they'll tell you. It just says here, like if you're grabbing it with one hand and then you grab with the other hand, it will transfer to your second hand. So I like that. And then max grab points. If it's -1, that just means that there aren't max grab points. You don't have to worry about it. So that's fine. Yeah. Next, we're going to look at this. And next, we're going to add the hand grab interactable script. So I guess grabbable is like the overall default, but then to make it more specific to work with hands rather than controllers, we do that. So we do hand grab interactable. And you can even see, if you search this stuff, there's different options, and you can look through the documentation to see what they mean. Because all of these are pretty useful. They all have different uses. Like hand grab use is like if you have like a toy gun or like a like water like sprayer, you can like press a trigger while you're holding it. Touch hand grab interactable, the hand will like snap to the surface of the object, but so it's like easier but a little more finicky. And then yeah. So when we add that, we can see all these parameters here, and it doesn't really matter because like the defaults are pretty good, but it's good to look through them. And you can see how it actually calculates whether you're grabbing it. You can choose to say your thumb, index, and middle finger. If either of those are touching or like, you know, in the grab position, it will be doing. But if you're just grabbing with your ring and your pinky, they call it max finger. It's ignored. So just like that. Hand alignment, align on grab, there's options there. So yeah. So this is good for just to get started. Now, it's not enough for like a really good experience, but I feel like we should just test it, you know? So I'm gonna, just to make it easier for testing, I'm gonna create a cube that is big to set it on and put it next to the spawn. I'm gonna switch to rectangle tool and just drag it in so it's a lot smaller. And if we want to test it just like really quickly, we can click the play button, but first we have to go to Oculus XR Simulator and activate it. And then we click play, and we should be able to test it like 2D in here. I still don't really recommend this. Okay. So the reason, oh, okay, we're good. The controls are kind of weird. Wait, what? They changed the controls. That's fun. I don't know how to go downwards now. How do I go down? I'm stuck. Help. This is not good. Okay. Well, you can see if we go back to the game window, or the scene window, the AirPods dropped onto the cube. So its collider worked, like its rigid body collider worked properly. It doesn't like it when we drag it there, but okay, I guess we're gonna move both of these up, and that is not right. We're gonna move both of these up just so that they're actually grabbable. Give it a sec. Okay. All right. And I'm not even sure what the command is, so. Oh, orbit. Interesting. Okay, so we can see, we should be able to see. Okay, this is not working. They changed this since the last time they changed all of the keybinds. So I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to grab. Yeah. All right. We are now going to go on to the next portion of the tutorial, which is building to the headset to test it. So you go into File, Build Settings, and you have this window. You're going to connect your Quest headset to your computer with the cable. You're going to put on the headset just to make sure there's not any like permissions, like it'll ask like allow USB device to access your files or something, just click enable. And you should have set up your like developer account before this. But once that's all done, it should be really easy. Every time you plug in your Quest into your computer, you can refresh, click this refresh button and see it under this run device. And if you see that and select it, it's all good.
Will it do the audio sound? Is that what you said?
What will?
Connect the headsets again? Or computer?
No, when you put the headset on, you don't need the Oculus app for any of this. Only for like running the project with this button in the headset, which is possible if you have a Windows computer, but sometimes not worth it because it can have its own troubleshooting problems. So then what you do is you just build and run, and I just have this same APK that I replaced because it doesn't really matter. Click save, replace, save the scene, and then it's building while my headset's connected, and you'll see when it's done. It should launch in my headset. So at some point it'll say copying APK. Hmm? Ooh. We're gonna try that again. Maybe it's just because I was messing around. I shouldn't have done that. But this MetaQuest Developer Hub app is very useful as well. I was pulling it up just to share to cast. Okay, sweet. Eh. All right, we're gonna try building again. Select device, build and run. Yeah, so the MetaQuest Developer Hub is really helpful for things like recording because otherwise you have to do it through like oculus.com/casting and log in. Okay, it says copying APK package to device, so it should be working now. And then once this is done, yep, it's done. So I'm gonna put the headset on now. I'm gonna turn this way. And of course I have to create a new boundary. I'm just gonna make a stationary one. You can see it launching. That was our splash screen. So it automatically launches. Sweet. So you can see my hands, hand tracking, amazing. And we picked up the object. Yay! It sure did. Well, you can see it works. Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's another thing that we need to add is the respawn on drop script.
Okay.
But I'm gonna relaunch the app just to show you. So if you're in hand tracking, you pinch your right index and thumb together, and then you tap quit. And this is in the recent apps, but to open it, from anywhere, you go to library, and you click on this. It'll normally be here. You click unknown sources. This is where all of your like development builds will be, and then you tap on the name of it to open it. So There's some problems with this though. You can pick it up. What? All right. I'm gonna try it one more time. You can pick it up. Yeah, so it's just like dropping to the ground instantly, which is interesting. Have to, have to fix that.
Is that an issue with the rigid one?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
It's supposed to just like drop on the rectangle that you have set.
Yeah, it should have like normal behavior. It should just, drop normally. Okay. Actually, I should test the other objects to see if they work properly. Now it sucks because I don't have a small boundary, but yeah, okay, so we can pick up this cup properly and it drops normally, right? I'll move my backpack. You can see it drops like this is like a normal object. You can, but another thing that we have to add, which we might go over today, is physics grabbable and hand throwable velocity. Because if I try to throw it, it doesn't throw. It doesn't track. Throwing is not taken for granted, and it won't. I let go, it retains zero momentum. So that is something that you also have to add manually. And then the other thing to make a higher quality interaction is recording hand poses. I don't know what we'll have time to do today, but yeah. Let's actually compare between these two objects to see if I did something wrong. Rigid body, automatic tensor use gravity, grabbable, hand grab interactable, physics grabbable. Oh, it probably is because we're missing the physics grabbable. And of course this is not shown on this default cube, so it's up to you to learn stuff without being taught it. So if we add physics grabbable, it was probably freaking out because we have this rigid body with gravity. And so without this physics grabbable, it didn't know how to behave. So just add that, seems fine, should be good. Now, let's see if they didn't change everything. Let's see if we can add that throwable interaction. Oh, yes, drag this physics grabbable script into the hand grab interactable script. Very important. There's a lot of hidden things that you have to check. Like every time you add something, you have to go through everything and make sure it is connected properly, because sometimes things need to be connected and it's not very good.
What did you say?
This in the hand grab interactable script, we added the physics grabbable script, so we just need to drag this script into here for it to work. And I'm gonna double check the cup to make sure that I'm right about that. And it's under optionals. Okay, this is not connected, so maybe it's fine. Anyway, I believe. Okay. Another important problem-solving technique I'm about to teach you guys. Shoot. Okay, maybe it's under here. Packages. All-in-one SDK. Nope. I'm looking for sample scenes because sample scenes are very useful. Damn. Dude. Removing sample scenes? That's ridiculous. Oh, wait. When I search, you have to click all instead of in assets. Okay. No! Not good. I can't believe that. Let's see. Yeah. Right, I actually don't want to open this. I'm gonna open an older project to try and find, oh, this doesn't even have what I want. I'm sure that sample scenes exist somewhere, but yeah. Okay, well basically they should have sample scenes. I have no idea why they removed them because they are really, really useful. But that's another thing, like basically just like looking at how things are done and like learning from them. But we're gonna see if we can add man, they changed this. I don't think I can even do that. Okay. Yeah. No, it's all it's Meta's fault because they changed SDK pretty frequently. But I guess I'll just show you like in the past. If you wanted to have throw interaction, you had to have like hand data and have like hand velocity. I don't know what ransack is even. Like I've never heard of that. I can do this in an older version of the SDK. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So that sucks. But it should be under like hand data. And oh, standard velocity calculator script deprecated, even though I'm literally on the highest version of the SDK. Throw input device. Yeah, so I mean like this stuff sucks. It sucks. Because you're just like, you know, trying to learn how to do it. And there's not that many YouTube tutorials. You just have to look through the documentation or sample scenes if they exist. So maybe it like is built in now. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. But the one last thing I think we can try to do for hand grab is to add hand poses. So if you didn't know, you can have the hand snap to the position of the object when you pick it up. So under hand grab interactable in the object, you click add hand grab pose key with scale 1.0, and it spawns this fun little hand here, and it is now a child of that object. So you have this like object here, this hand that's a child of the object, and it doesn't show up all the time. It only shows up when you like select it, because you don't want hands to be everywhere. And now you can see the finger freedom here. So like your thumb and your index finger will be locked to the object, but your middle and ring finger will be able to lift up off of the object, but not go into it. And then your pinky finger will be able to go through the object. And you can customize these, but that's just the default. And now they do have a sample scene for like recording hand poses, and you'd have to learn how to do that yourself, but it can sometimes be a little more convenient to just take the time and manually do it. So I'm gonna do a really basic one here. So I just kind of move it into the location. Can you please slow down? Thank you. Okay. So hand thumb 0. This is rotation, so you just have to like play with them to see which one they are. And it's not updating. Oh, it worked. That updated. Okay. So it looks like Z is where we want to be. With that 4, move it up to 55. And it's backwards, and it didn't update. It didn't tell me that. Okay. So I guess, okay, so we've learned that smaller is better. Yeah. This is not good. This is not as good. So I guess it's up to you guys to decide if this is something you want to explore. Yeah, I mean it really sucks because it's really important for like making a good immersive thing like this. It looks like that did something. Like it really needs to update in real time. I don't understand why it doesn't. Uh, uh-oh, okay. Okay. So you also have to add for this, so just my thinking process here, I see this surface. It's optional though. So maybe I'll just remove it. So you just have to like see if it works and then test it. Um, Sorry about this. We should probably wrap up soon. Um, but I'm gonna see if I can get. Okay, I guess this is a hand grab pose, and it looks unique. So if we test it again, we'll be able to see if it snaps to this pose. And then the last thing I want to do is add an audio file when you pick it up. So let's look at what happened with the other objects. So if we look at the Blue Donkey Coffee, we have this pointable Unity event wrapper, which I think is another Oculus specific script. And you can see that when select, it turns on the info card, like GameObject.setActive, Blue Donkey info card, and then check. So the check means that it's true, that it is active. And then when unselect, it's unchecked, so it turns back off. So that's how the behavior of the info cards appearing and disappearing works. So when you have like things that happen and they talk to other things in Unity scene, that's called an event. So let's see if we can do that on the AirPods, hopefully. So we're going to add that component, pointable Unity event wrapper, and we'll say when select, we're going to add also the audio file. So we're going to go audio source. And this is actually fun spatial audio that Meta handles. So it like appears like in the location of the scene where it's supposed to, but it's all done behind the scenes. It's called Pointable Unity Event Wrapper. When I added this component to this object, it allows you to do some like if-then kind of things. So like we have all of these events, when release, when hover, when unhover, when select. So it just lets you like do things when something about the object happens. No, this is not right. Oops. Yeah, okay, so this did not work. I tried to convert it into a WAV file before, but it's broken. So,
Does it need WAV or do you have MP4?
Unity's favorite type of audio file is WAV.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's because it's like lossless. Okay. Alright, so I have to find a sound effect really fast. And the only one I have on me is the Windows Connect sound. So, at risk of being a little memey, we're going to use that one. Drag that into the audio clip for the audio source component. And it should be fine. Now, because this audio source is in the same object, I dragged itself, if you click on it, you can see it's referring to like this itself, and then under all these functions in this dropdown, we can see all of the components. And like, so like basically all of these parameters you can like access via code or like any other thing. So we're going to go down to audio source, and then we're going to find the one that says play. Boom, play. And then when you click on the audio source and assets to import it, you have to choose its behavior. So,
Looping backwards.
yeah, I don't think we
Not
want
for
this.
this.
Yeah, not for this. Oh yeah, no, it's actually, okay, so under this audio source, we don't want it to play on awake. So we're going to uncheck that. And then there's also loop, which we also don't want to check. Or maybe we'll check it just to test it. But see, like if you have music, you probably want it to loop. These are the options. And then we're going to say when unselect as well, drag ourself into here, go to function, audio source, pause. So the behavior we've set up is when I pick up the AirPods, it will play the Windows 10 Connect sound on loop. And when I place it down, it'll stop. Let's test it. Refresh, headset connected, build and run, save. Yes. Sorry,
It's good.
if this, I don't know if, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how overwhelmed are you right now? Not-
Five.
Not bad? Okay.
It's good.
I'm happy to hear that.
Like
But-
this part is a little fast, but I feel like going back and watching it would be fun.
Okay. I'm afraid that the meta SDK is overwhelming because it's so, complicated and changes and is not good and everything.
I just missed one thing, which I'll ask once they say something.
Sounds good. So it's copying the package. It's ready. It's launching already. All right. Whoa! Huge news. So the hand pose works, believe it or not. As scuffed as it looks.
So it like sits in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see perfectly here.
Can you bring it up to your face?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's
Oh,
fine.
no.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we're good. Whoa! Oh. Okay, I think this is great. So the only thing that we didn't get working is actually posing the hand properly, but that is something that you can learn and do.
Okay.
So, but with the hand pose that we customized, we have full hand movement, but when we pick it up, it snaps into our grab position, which is this. And you can see the pinky is free moving. However, I don't know how easy this is to see, but I can actually lift my
Yeah.
ring finger off of the object.
We can see
Yeah, which is very cool. But I'm pretty sure that my thumb and my index finger and that is locked. So you can kind of like morph your hand around to like play with it. But when it works, it's amazing.
Is the audio playing?
I don't think so.
that. Oh,
But in theory, it should. It should work. So just pretend like it does, I guess. Unfortunately.
but how do we know it'll work?
Because you have time to troubleshoot it and make it work when you do it, I guess.
How to troubleshoot?
Yeah. And now let's see if it throws. We only have one shot to do this because I think it throws. Let's see if I can actually pick this up. Okay, can you pick it up? I'm gonna try one more time. It throws! Yay! Okay, so they added that interaction. I guess
That's
that,
already like built in.
yeah. I guess they are improving the SDK. But I wonder why the AirPods, maybe the AirPods are just too small and they like pretend like they're, anyway. Wow. What a time to be alive.
Do the
Um,
old objects need to be updated for like the throw? Like the glossy stuff, or
I think they do. Let's see. Yeah, so this is stuff that you might have to work on. So now, like, we have rigid body, grabbable, hand grab, physics grab. That's it. Maybe because, or maybe spatialize. Anyway, can I even hear this? Can we test this? Anyway, if you look at the old objects, um, yeah, I'm not sure. It could be worth it to like reapply these scripts because I don't know if they're like an older version of the script, but anyway, you get the idea. You see. Now, when you're done making changes, we're wrapping it up now because I have to eat. You can see all your changes in here. It looks like it's only 7, like change project settings, added these. It should make sense. And you make a summary, like I'm not gonna actually upload this because it's kind of throwaway, but like added AirPods grab interaction. And you say commit to main, and you just click, it'll say like push here. And when you push, it means it's uploaded to the website. So
What if we're in a separate sample scene that we created?
that's fine because the scene is all a part of the same project. And it'll say like, whoa, it's been trying to open this insanely big project in the background the whole time. Wow. Anyway, so you can see that. So if I go to scenes and I say create new scene,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I go back to GitHub, it just says added new scene.unity. And it shows you like the whole text file in here as well. Yeah, there's no problem. You can have as many scenes as you want in Unity because it's like you can like load between levels or whatever. And we can use them as like different things people are working on.
If you copy and paste the scene, does that like override the other scene?
No, you can.
So what if you edit the AirPods within this new scene, but you don't edit them within the sample scene?
So all of the assets exist outside of scenes. Scenes do not store anything, they only reference things in assets. Yeah. So AirPods only and will only ever exist inside of this models folder.
Okay.
So I drag it into the scene. However, if I wanted to make changes to it, like let's say I added like rigid body and I added like grabbable, blah, 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 all this stuff to here. I have these components.
Mm-hmm.
Change the color to green, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to save this and put it in another scene, then you make it a prefab. And to make it a prefab, we have this prefabs folder just to be organized.
Mm-hmm.
We take it, drag it from the hierarchy right into anywhere in the assets. So now we have this AirPods Pro prefab, and you can see these other prefabs. They're not just models, they have components on them.
Okay.
So this is in here. And then if I want to go back into the original scene, right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can drag the AirPods back in because they're a prefab.
So we should, just,
Yeah, they're big. You have to scale it down.
we should work in a separate scene, but then translate it to the old scene or the main scene.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
But
But-
if like no one's working on it and you're like, hey, I'm gonna work on it,
Yeah.
then it's fine to just work on it at least.
Yes, it's good to communicate with people. Just be like, hey, I'm working on this. But if you want to like, I think that might be a good thing. Like if you save, if you like get this whole like, if you like add an object, like let's say you do all of the work, you make this ramen bowl with this info card canvas. You could say like, well, these should probably be put under a specific parent. So like, I would say create empty game object, and then put the ramen bowl and the info card inside of it. And then you could take this game object and make it a prefab.
Okay.
So like if you like do all the work for an object to save it, you can make it a prefab. So just one more example, like let's say you have this AirPods. This is a prefab because it's blue. But if I change it, like I scale it down, or if I add a script, you can see that they're bold. It might be hard to tell, but anything you change in a prefab is bold. And if you want to save that, you say apply as override. So that text is no longer large. You say added component, apply as override, and now it's no longer bold. So like there's like kind of like a save system for prefabs. You can like edit prefabs, but they will remember their original state, stuff like that. Are there any other questions? Is there anything that you feel like I could have gone over better? Anything? Okay, thanks. Are there any other like, I don't know. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Do you feel like you like learned a decent bit about like the process? Okay.
For the like archive reading room, are we gonna make that like another part of the map that we like click, like the dorm room, but
Yes.
like on the like Crosslanes towers?
Yes, absolutely. So this is all messed up. I'm gonna revert all of this. I'll show you. This is the magic of GitHub. So inside of the map, we have this little freshman poke cube. You can see here with the info card canvas. So if we, and then we just have another, oh yeah, this is a custom script. When you get close to it, the script will determine things. But if you want to add another location, you just like make another object and like you put it somewhere else. And it currently we don't use different scenes, but we probably should do that. We should learn how to like make different scenes and load between them, rather than doing this weird activate deactivate thing. But yeah, I think we should wrap it up. Thanks so much for attending today. Hope you learned a good bit.